this will go into the Legend ZA Prep Hunt playlist. Okay, so let me explain why I'm doing this as I start. So we are going to be hunting for Heatran. Again. Initially, I was going to do this on 3DS. Oh, we got ground types. That's good. That's good. I was going to do this on the 3DS, but then I thought, I think we've had enough of the 3DS hunt for a lifetime now. So let's do Dynamax Adventures instead. You know, the way I should have done the hunts since the beginning, not gonna lie. And also doing this would be a nice transition into what we're gonna hunt next on the channel. Anyways, so, ooh, water and ground, very nice. Actually, that's not very good for what I have now. Oh well, cross our fingers. Anyway, so why am I hunting Heatran, of all things? That's because in Legend ZA's Mega Dimension DLC, Heatran is in the DLC, it has a Mega, but it is shiny locked. Should I Screech? Because we have Serena. I'm pretty sure there's a little special defense, but we don't have special moves to use against it. Nah, you know, I'm gonna Screech. That's why. You know what? It wouldn't have mattered anyways. 2 turns and this thing is gone. Anyways, so this hunt would have included things like Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion, but turns out those can be shiny hunted in Legend ZA. Heatran is shiny locked. Darkrai, well, there's no consistent way to hunt Darkrai. And I already hunted Latias and Latios, and that was before the DLC came out, which now we know they can be shiny hunted in them. So, Heatran's the only one. Heatran is the only legendary with a Mega in the game that I can shiny hunt. I think you get what I'm saying. Yeah, this absolutely would have included the Swords of Justice, but those are not shiny locked. Oh man, this ain't that great, because I don't want the Scientist to replace Palpitoad. Okay, that's fine. Another reason why I'm doing this now, not gonna lie, I kind of decided to do this shiny hunt on a whim. Start for shiny Heatran. The reason I'm doing this now is because multiple reasons. My Legend ZA is currently out of box space. As much as I want to shiny hunt and continue, I can't, because I don't have the box space anymore. As of this moment, Legend ZA Legend ZA hasn't updated to be compatible. That's still not right. Pokemon Home has not updated to be compatible with Legend ZA yet, so I can't move anything. My box space is completely filled up, so I don't want to find shinies and have to leave them behind, because I have no space. And you guys know me. Just as an added challenge, I like to shiny hunt the legendaries in Pokédex order. So in my Legend ZA, I already got shiny Latias and Latios. Well, Pokédex-wise, Heatran comes before the Swords of Justice. And I can't play Legend ZA right now because I'm out of box space. So, while I wait for Pokemon Home to update for Legend ZA, let's hunt Heatran now. And finally, the biggest reason why I am doing more shiny hunts now, well, there is just too many shows, too many movies coming out to the point where I gotta I gotta shiny hunt something to cover them all. I'm already behind. What is that ground? I can't see. That's a Seismitoad that has no ground moves. Okay, Swampert we go. Actually, Swampert's a pretty terrible choice, but we do still have Serena on the team. You know what? You know what? No, I'm not gonna Dynamax, because more than likely Swampert's gonna be taken down like 2 turns. I'm gonna save my Dynamax, let it re-roll for Heatran. Anyways, so, yeah, I have a lot of shows to talk about. I have 4 things to talk about today. You know, doing something like shiny hunting, at least in my eyes, is ideal to talk about these shows, because, well, it's shiny hunting. What else am I going to talk about? Playing a game like Persona's definitely not the time to be talking about all these shows and movies. So, what do I have to talk about today? We're going to continue where we off previously, in terms of the shiny hunts. So, we have another episode of Oshinoko Season 3. We have Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 1, which Season 2 has already started. We have Wonder Man. And a new addition, I watched Ted. Because Season 2 is starting soon, and I haven't seen the first season of Ted yet. So we have those 4 to go over. And when I tell you that I am super behind, because I'm serious, I am super behind. A lot of shows are coming out soon. I need to get these shows done with so I can talk about those. I'm just gonna attack. Heatran should be easy enough to where we can solo it. Oh man, you just had to use Metal Sound on Serena? Oh crap. That's 3 taken down. That's 3 of our lives. And Heatran still has 1 more move. Or 1 more turn. Which, if you ask me, is absolute BS that Legendaries get 2 turns in a row. Oh, never mind. Not yet. So, hoping. Oh! Come on, land. Don't let that burn. Land. Ah! Why did I decide to do this? Is it too late for me to go back to the 3DS? They wouldn't be very legendary if they didn't, now would they? I'm still looking for another path from Peonia. You know what? That one attempt alone reminded me why I did the 3DS instead of Dynamax Adventures. Because you can waste... There you go. You can waste 10 minutes and not even get a check. I see 1 single ground type here. Fighting's okay. You want to hear something that I heard earlier today? So earlier today, I went to buy paper for work. Wow, that was loud. I went to go buy some paper because we're out of paper for our printer. And along the way, while I was in the car, I heard on the radio... So I heard men and women have different goals during an argument. Men want the argument to be over, women want to be right. Wow, I've never heard it put that way before, but goddamn if that's not true. Let me see. Also today, in Pokemon Go, I got a shiny Seviper off the Daily Incense. And then, I got a shiny Shadow Latias from the Shadow Raid. IVs were garbage, of course, but it's fine. It's a Shadow Shiny. I now have Shadow Shiny Latias and Latios. Is it just me, or are the shiny odds worse in Shadow Raids? Because I swear, it really does not feel like 1 in 20. While out buying paper today, I also did see a Squirtle Funko Pop. Well, I saw a regular Squirtle Funko Pop, and next to it was a quote-unquote special Squirtle Funko Pop. The box read soft color, and if you look at them back to back, side by side, one of the Squirtles actually does look lighter in color. It almost looks like a shiny Squirtle Funko Pop, but the shell's not green, so it's not. What a wasted opportunity. Anyways, let's get started. We have a lot to talk about today. The main reason why I'm deciding to shiny hunt right now, I have a lot of shows to go over. I haven't finished going over the last batch of shows, let alone the shows that are upcoming. Now come on, let's get to this. Invincible Season 4 coming out soon. So is Daredevil Born Again Season 2. The Boys Season 5 from Season 4. A lot of good stuff coming out soon. How's everyone doing, by the way? You know, earlier tonight, my friend messaged me on Instagram. He asked, "You alright, bro?" Because I reposted a video of this dude on a bike just straight up going like, yeah, nice guys definitely do finish last. Like, if you mean, if you abusive, you get the girl, but if you're a nice guy, a nice wholesome guy looking for a relationship, nah, you don't get a relationship in this world. That was like the TLDR of what the dude was saying. I reposted that, and then my boy just messaged me like, "You okay, bro?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, I'm good." How do I message him like, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna lie, I only recently discovered on Instagram you can repost. I never really paid attention. And then, you know, I discovered it by seeing someone else repost stuff. Not gonna lie, for the past quite a long time, the way I've shared things on Instagram, aside from just directly sending it to someone, like sending the reel to someone directly, is I've just been reposting it on my story. Anyways, so let's get started. We have another episode of Oshinoko to go over, season 3 that is. What episode was this? I think this was episode 6. Do I really want to Dynamax? I don't really have anything else on my team that's good against Sandaconda, so I suppose I really should. Oh. Could have sworn I hit the button there. Let me see, what episode was this? What episode am I about to talk about? Oh yeah, I also wanted to look up, how many episodes are there in Season 3? Because I think episode 8 just came out. That might be the last episode of the season. Oh no! Season 3 will have 11 episodes, from what I see. And then people also ask, what anime has over 7,000 episodes? Saze-san is the only anime with over 7,000 segments, also referred to as episodes in this context. What the hell? I've never heard of this. Oh, did you guys hear that they're also putting out a Little Mermaid anime? Like, it's gonna follow the original story more closely than Disney has or had. I don't know, kinda looks interesting. Curious to see how the original story is gonna be depicted compared to what we know from Disney. I think? Yeah, episode 6. Alright, episode 6 of Oshinoko Season 3. Let's see, this episode opens up with Ruby on a little, like, talk show. And doesn't our world just not make sense in this kind of way? So the host of the talk show is just asking Ruby, like, you ever gone out with boys before? And Ruby, playing dumb, is just like, huh? Well, I recently went out with my brother. I don't think that counts as going out with a boy, Ruby. So, yeah, the talk show just asking Ruby as well as a bunch of other idols, like what their romantic life is like. I'm gonna try to paralyze this thing first. But, you know, it's all an act for the cameras, because when they go backstage to get their makeup touched up, it turns out majority of the idols, yeah, they all have boyfriends, they all have partners. Ruby is thinking to herself, when you're in the limelight like this, when you're an idol, when you're a star in the public eye, yeah, you cannot be seen or be known to have a boyfriend, a partner. Need I say more? I mean, literally look at what just happened. Pokimane announced that she now has a boyfriend. The internet completely was outraged at her. Isn't our world just kind of upside down and backwards like that? And then Ruby had this whole inner monologue about how this industry is just that toxic. You know, the showbiz industry, ooh, you better have this perfect image, you better have this happy face. No relationships allowed, at least certainly not in public. You gotta be extra careful if you're seen out in public. You go to a restaurant with your date, make sure it's nice and far away from any sort of, like, recording studio. Make sure you book a private room so that no fans spot you. I didn't need a Dynamax here, but whatever. Well, that's primarily all we get from Ruby this episode. We really get more of Kana this episode. So Kana, she's pretty sad. not gonna lie, you can't blame her for being sad. Her life has gone completely downhill the past little while. But not completely. She herself acknowledged that she is the least popular member of B Komachi. So, it seems like that'll play into the later parts of the episode. She also almost, you know, had to do a very disgusting act just to get casted into a higher acting role. But thankfully, good for her, she said no. And thank God that the director did not push himself onto her. And, ooh, the most heartbreaking thing that she's going through right now. Aqua completely ignoring her. So, Kana, she normally hides her real feelings. But now, it's just too much. So she's really showing that she's upset about something. I'm also going to make some room with my Dynite ore, because I'm almost maxed out. And, also, let me show you. I have damn near no more money left in this game. So when I run out of Pokeballs... So that's why I'm going to use my Dynite ore to buy some of these, because Lord knows I'm never going to use them. But these sell tremendously. Gonna give myself a little bit of leeway. Oh, right, I can only buy so much. I was about to spend, like... I don't even know what I was thinking. Anyways. You know what? No, that's too much. That'll give me, like, 2 mil. I'll do 150 for now. That gives me plenty of space to carry more Dynite ore. Anyway, so, yeah. Kana's pretty upset. She just wants to be left alone right now. But Mem, she notices that, and she immediately runs over to tell Aqua. If I run into water or ground, neither of these are good against them. But I'll take this, just so none of the NPCs take it. And screw something up. Of course you would take Butterfree. Of course you would take Butterfree. The stupid... I took the worst option available so that the NPCs don't. But of course the NPC takes the option that's even worse than what I chose. So Mem immediately rushes to Aqua to try to get him to cheer her up. Because, not gonna lie, at this point, it really would only be Aqua who can help Kana. But Aqua, we know how he is. He's not going to talk to her. Even after what he unintentionally did the other episode, slapping her, yelling at her, when he didn't mean to, he didn't even know it was her. He didn't even know she was there. He didn't even apologize for that. I'm just like, really, man? I know you want to protect her, but like, really? I think that's a little bit too far. Well, to really snap Aqua out of it, Mem just straight up tells him, I believe Kana became an idol for you. Otherwise, she wouldn't have become an idol. She only wanted to be an idol for you. You're the one who brought her into this world. You're the one who put the idea of being an idol in her head. So that kinda made Aqua consider talking to her. But, you know, before Aqua could even make a choice to do so, uh-oh, tragedy strikes. No, not tragedy, but, well, pretty bad things happen. Because remember at the end of the last episode, as Kana was leaving the director's quote-unquote studio, well, her picture was taken by some dick. And, ooh, these reporters, these dirty, dirty reporters, they love ruining careers like this. They don't even do it because it's their job. They do it just out of the love for the game. It's like, ooh, the juicy scoop on this celebrity scandal. Must report. Who cares if it ruins this person's career or not? So, as Kana is just walking, minding her own business, the same photographer just jumps out of his car with the goddamn recorder to record the conversation. Like, how low can you be? So the dude just walks up to her, be like, "Excuse me, are you Kana Amira? Hey, I'm a huge fan, but I do have some questions. Is this you? This is you leaving the director's, or this is you with a man, isn't it? And you went to his studio apartment late at night, didn't you? When all the other staff members should have left. Care to explain?" Putting the microphone straight to her face, like... At this moment, Kana realized, oh shit, I fucked up. This'll ruin my career. This not only would ruin my career, this would spell tragedy for everyone over at Strawberry Productions. Because literally at the same time, Mayako, she received like an email, a freaking email. I don't know if Will-O-Wisp is a good idea. And my voice just cracked. Yeah, Mayako got an email being like, "Hey, we would like to discuss one of your talents at your agency." Literally attached files of her with the guy, with the director. So this is a huge problem. But anyways, Kana, she did probably the best thing she could. And just say nothing. She didn't respond, she didn't even look him in the eye, she said nothing. Not because she was thinking strategically, but because she was just immobilized by fear, immobilized by guilt. That all she did was just turn around and walk away. So the reporter's just like, "Do you confirm the allegations by staying silent?" And then she just starts running away. First of all, I'm thinking to myself, wait, how can you prove that's even her? Like, yeah, you literally pulled out your iPad with pictures of her standing next to a director, but what does that really prove? He is supposedly a well-known director in Japan. Sure, she came out of his studio at night, but like, that doesn't necessarily prove anything. She just, for all you know, she was just standing outside of a building late at night. That's all the pictures show. You didn't record her coming out, dumbass. And also, the tape recorder, not the tape recorder, the microphone, the audio recorder you held in your hand, Kana didn't say anything. So the only thing you recorded was, "Kana, do you confirm you did this by staying silent?" And then no response. It's like, oh my god, that's it. That's the mic drop moment. It's like, bruh, you got nothing. You literally have nothing. She didn't make any sound that got recorded to where you can prove, yes, you were speaking to her in person. And really, the picture, well, people know that she's an actress, and people know that's a director. You dimwit. But this is just me thinking. I'm sure the show will cover how treacherous this could be for her career. We'll see, we'll see. So anyways, Kana just runs away, immobilized by fear and guilt. She ends up in a back alley where she puts down her purse, but her mind is just overwhelmed with thoughts that she just starts walking away and she just leaves her purse behind. Not realizing that her phone is buzzing with a lot of people trying to reach out and try to find her. Especially Mayako, since she's the one who got the email with the pictures. She couldn't reach out and find Kana, Mem can't, Aqua can't. Ruby, well, she's filming another episode or whatnot, so she can't reach out just yet. Well, Memcho isn't just gonna take the standing down, so she... I shouldn't use Max Flare. So she decides to go out and search for Kana. Aqua does the same. Which, like, thank God for that. Aqua finally doing something for Kana. Thank God for that. Kana, she's just walking down the street all by herself. She starts hallucinating voices. You know, the same typical lines you would hear about people spreading rumors and gossiping. Total career destroyers. Stuff like, oh, she's such a little slut. She slept her way up the industry. If you were just gonna be like this, then you shouldn't have joined this career. Stuff like that. Despicable things. That's all she can think about. Because she's thinking, once the news gets out, that's all she's gonna hear. I'm gonna take this. Of course Butterfree could have swapped out. Of course! What are the chances that Butterfree swaps out for Palpitoad? 25%? Because there's a chance that the other two could swap out, but then there's also a chance that none of them will take Palpitoad. So Aqua just keeps on running, keeps on searching for her. Actually, he just stops for a bit to really consider where she could be. He thinks about his time with her, thinks about the time that he and her played catch, like literally in Season 1 when they were throwing a baseball, playing catch. Aqua was thinking to himself how he could really be himself around her, and only around her. And that really lit up a spark inside of Aqua, to where he starts running to go and find her. Eventually Aqua does find her though, curled up crying to herself in like a park I think they've been to together. And as Kana is just curled up there crying to herself, just thinking to herself, oh man, I really screwed up. This is gonna be it for my career. This is it for Become Chief, because everyone's gonna have repercussions because of this. And then she just whispers to herself, help me, Aqua. Not realizing Aqua is just standing there, a little bit to the distance, but still standing there. But she whispered it. I don't think Aqua heard that. And it's that one line that really snaps Kana out of it. Because we have this mic drop moment where some very hopeful music plays. Kana just thinks to herself, wait, what did I just say? Look at me. Expecting him to help me in this moment. And then she stands up, smiles, laughs, and just completely screams. Like, man, screw the fans. As if I was doing this for the fans to begin with. I don't even like the fans. Everyone in this industry should be happy, should have a smile, should have this facade on. Well, that was never me. I'll let everyone else have that kind of act, but not me. I don't care what they say. You know what? Good for her. Good for her. Aqua actually overheard all of that. But god damn it, man! You didn't go talk to her! It's like, oh my god, man. Like, I get you want to protect her, but god damn, man! Anyway, so instead he messages Memcho and just like, hey, maybe look around this area. Instead of just messaging her, hey, I found her, she's fine. I didn't talk to her, though. He just straight up shares location and just goes, here, look around this area. And then as like an ending stinger, we see Akane in her room getting ready to leave to investigate. Because he is about to investigate what was this douchebag's name again? He was no. Yeah, Kana is about to go out and investigate Hikaru, Jesus Christ. You know, the father, the human filth. She did her research. Because he started his own agency in like the age of 25. And well, an agency like that is gonna be public information. So she's able to go straight to the building and start investigating. She just takes picture of the outside. She just thinks to herself, maybe I should have been a private eye instead of an actress. So Akane is taking it upon herself to start investigating. But oh no. In another alleyway, we see some hooded figure. That's really it. In an alley, we see some hooded figure, and that's it. We don't even see who it is. It could be Hikaru, it could be someone else. We actually don't know. Maybe next episode we'll find out. Oh. No, don't send out Butterfree. I've already began Dynamax Adventures. I can't go back to the 3DS. So, in nearly 40 minutes, I only had one check with Heatran. If I was on the 3DS, you know how many encounters I could have had by now? None of these are great. I'll take this in case we see a water type. I see water, and I only see water. Oh, but that's a Slowbro. Slowbro has no water type moves. What is that? What is that electric one? That's a Electabuzz. Okay, I see Stunfisk. Stunfisk has ground moves. Well, that's my only saving grace at the moment. Wow, none of my team members are attacking. Okay, so next, let's talk about Monarch. We have 2 more episodes left, 1 after this. And then Season 2 has already started. So, this is the second last episode of Season 1. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, Episode 9. I gotta say also, this show is excellent. Now that I've seen the show, I really wish I watched it sooner. Okay, so we begin this episode, Episode 9. We begin with Lee and Bill talking to young Hiroshi, letting him know that they're about to do something dangerous, but don't worry, they'll be back. And as a nice gesture, Lee gives Hiroshi his little pocket knife, not to keep, but just to borrow, to give it back to him sometime. But just hold on to it for him for now. Just keep it safe for him. It's revealed that it is now 1962. So it has been 3 years since Keiko died in 1959. So 1962, what are they doing? They're doing an experiment. Well, not really an experiment. They're doing an attempt to get Lee and some other nobodies into Hollow Earth. They're actually conducting, or not conducting, they're running, sending people down into Hollow Earth because of Bill's theory that he figured out, you know, before Keiko died. So it's already been a couple years. And this being 1962, of course there are talks about like, man, who cares about going to space? We're going low. We're going into the Earth. Because 1962, the moon landing hasn't happened yet. So Lee is one of the people who are going to be inside of a spherical pod, along with 3 others going down into Hollow Earth. So they run the test. So that, yeah, they do it. Their plan basically is they use Dr. Shit, what was his name again? The doctor in Japan who made a Titan lure, a Titan bait. You know, uses gamma, or uses radiation to attract Titans. Dr. Suzuki, was it? So they have him. They're basically doing the same thing. They know that Titans live underground, so they lure in a Titan with their Titan bait, and they pretty much hitchhike a ride. Yeah, that's pretty much their plan. Anyways, experiment go. They turn on all the machines, but uh-oh, something goes wrong. Something goes wrong, because the hole, the breach, well, it's kind of sucking everything in. As our pod with Lee and 3 others are being sent down, on the surface, well, everything is being sucked into it. So some sort of issue is happening. And oh no, they lost them. They lost communication. What's a huge tragedy is on both perspectives, they don't know what happened. Lee's perspective, when he went down there, communication just cut off, like he knows something went wrong. But on the surface side, Bill, he thinks he just lost his best friend. He already lost his wife Keiko 3 years earlier. And now, he has completely... He lost his son's Uncle Lee as well. He lost his best friend. Poor Hiroshi. You know what I mean? Like, that's the biggest tragedy. Everything Hiroshi lost. Because Hiroshi, he lost his mother. He lost his Uncle Lee. And, you know, we learned that in present day... Well, actually, we don't learn that yet. Anyways, but in present day, our characters are down there in Hollow Earth. May wakes up. She has no idea where she is. But Senior Lee shouts to her, "We gotta move, now." Because right where she was standing, a giant, like, electrical discharge was about to happen and completely fry her. So they need to move. Also, her eyes are a little bit off, and that's just a side effect of actually coming down to Hollow Earth. So Lee explains that he's been down here before. For them to survive, May, you have to do exactly what I say. Everything that I say. But it's just the 2 of them right now. It's just the 2 of them. It's just May and Lee. Where's Kate? Kate fell down as well. There's no sign of Kate. So they need to try to find Kate. Up on the surface, Kentaro He somehow got transported back to the Japan hospital that's near his home. He's pretty beaten up. It seems like his leg's broken. His head is bandaged, I think. Verdugo and Tim also having a broken leg. They have no choice but to believe Kate is dead. Not just Kate, everyone's dead. Kate, May, Lee, they're all dead. They all fell into the hole and they're gone. So, unfortunately, Kentaro's under the belief that Kate is dead. Wow, I have nothing good against Stunfisk, huh? Maybe I can poison it. Oh, look at that. Well, Kentaro's mother Emiko showed up as well to pick him up. But, you know, here's the real big news. Here's a real big reveal. So, yeah, Lee says that he's been down there before. And he has. So we flash back to young Lee waking up in a Japan hospital. How did he end up there? Didn't he go down into Hollow Earth in America? How did he wake up in a Japan hospital? Regardless, he does wake up, but he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know anyone around him. He keeps on asking for Bill Randa. And you know what? One of the nurses that showed up to help him was Emiko. Was Kentaro's mother. Remember, this is a flashback to when Lee was younger. Kentaro's mother was the one who was helping Lee when he was in the hospital. Somehow he had returned from Hollow Earth. Lee refuses to eat, refuses to speak, really refuses to do anything until Bill Randa shows up. Emiko wanting to cheer up this strange white man. She, like, sneaks a holiday cookie for him, which was a nice gesture, but Lee, he apologizes. Apologizes for what? For what? Well, he kind of takes Emiko hostage, just goes crazy down the halls of the hospital, just yells out, "Bill Randa! Get me Bill Randa!" As he's taking Emiko hostage, walking down the hall, screaming like a lunatic, he walks by a room and sees something interesting on the TV. He notices the moon landing. Wait a second. That doesn't seem right. And then a strange adult man approaches and speaks to Lee. He reveals that Lee Shaw disappeared for 20 years. It's no longer 1962, it's now 1982. And I just lost this. Wow. And who was the adult man? Well, he pulls out the same pocket knife that Lee let him borrow 20 years earlier. It's none other than Hiroshi, all grown up. And he unfortunately reveals to Lee, Bill Randa died long ago. So, damn. Bill died before 1982. We don't really know what happened to him. And that's got to be a lot to take in, because for Lee, it's only been a little while. And then all of a sudden, he's being told 20 years has passed. The kid he knew a couple days ago is now an adult. His best friend is dead. Wow, there's really nothing for me to do. Or for me to go to. So what exactly happened? Lee tries to recount everything that he remembers. What he remembers is going down, something going bad, you know? So now they're in Hollow Earth, they're stranded, they're trying to signal back up, but clearly that didn't happen, that didn't work. Just like Senior Lee told May he's been down here before, he knows all of these effects. Like when you go down there, your eyes kind of get messed up, the electric discharges, that is kind of a result of just being there, entering there. So Lee tries to recount what happened. When they were down there, they tried what they can to fix their pod to get back up, but oh no! A dragon showed up and attacked. Yada yada yada, the dragon attacked and the electric discharges pretty much killed the 3 other people that Lee was with. I'm not kidding when I say this next part. Something happened, Lee made it back to the surface. Literally, that's it. Lee doesn't even know what happened. To him, literally, something happened and he's back on the surface. And all of a sudden he's being told 20 years has passed. So I forgot to mention this, he's telling this to Hiroshi. And also, by the way, I forgot to mention this too, before Lee recounts everything that happened. Hiroshi showing off his Riz. This man has Riz, otherwise he wouldn't have had 2 families. He shows his Riz to Emiko, who we know is Kentaro's mother. He gives her a potted plant, like a literal bouquet of flowers. I think it was flowers, not a potted plant. He gives her a bouquet of flowers, or maybe it was a potted plant. And she's just like, why are you giving this to me? Because Hiroshi, he's just like, I'm sorry for what happened to you. Hands over the flowers, like, why are you giving this to me? You know? It's like, you didn't do that to me. Yes, but he's my Uncle Lee. I feel somewhat responsible. And, well, we clearly know what happened. A couple years later, Kentaro popped out. But by this time, Hiroshi should have already been with Kate's mother. Maybe. But yeah, we actually see the quote-unquote love blossom between Hiroshi and Emiko. Anyway, so yeah. Lee tries to recount what he can to Hiroshi, but Hiroshi, you know, he's so defeated by this world. He lost his mother, he lost his father, he lost his Uncle Lee, and then his Uncle Lee shows back up 20 years later looking like he hasn't aged a day. Lee tries to tell him, your parents were right. The things that they theorized, the things that they did at Monarch, they were right. They weren't just a bunch of whack jobs everyone brushed off. What they did was true. Everything that they thought was real. Hiroshi, you have to believe me. But Hiroshi's just like, nah. Nah, I've lost too much already. But we do know Hiroshi does work for Monarch. At least he did. To, you know, try to prevent this kind of tragedy from happening to anyone else. But he's not going to listen to his Uncle Lee. Instead, what Hiroshi tells him is the fact that Monarch, well, we don't really want you to blow the whistle on this. So, here's what's going to happen. Monarch is going to send you to kind of like a retirement home, a Monarch monitored retirement home we have here in Japan, and you'll kind of be just staying there for the rest of your life against your will. It's like, wait a second, you can't do this to me. Wait, what? But yeah, unfortunately, Lee did that. That's exactly what happened to Lee. And we see that too. We see Lee, when he was young, transition to old in that same retirement home. Let me put it this way. Lee Shaw, against his will, was in a Monarch retirement home. Also, he was being medicated too. He was there from 1982 to 2015. That's 33 years. 33 years in the retirement home with the ankle monitor on him. And being medicated too, so that he doesn't really think. He was there for 33 years. And you know what? That kind of explains how Lee Shaw moves and acts the way he does for being 90. Because he lost 20 years. He skipped forward 20 years. That's how he looks and acts 70 when in reality he's like 90 years old. So this whole time throughout the show, when people were wondering, how does he look the way he does if he's supposed to be 90 years old? That's how. He lost 20 years. It's like, damn, he looks good for 90 years old. He doesn't look a day over 70. But anyways, so he was there from 1982 all the way until 2015. Where, before he was about to take his pill, he sees on the TV a news broadcast. Honolulu decimated. That is the exact same news broadcast we saw in the very first Godzilla movie. And that's true. That's exactly what we see take place in the Godzilla movie. Godzilla fighting the Mutos in Honolulu, Hawaii. That was before G-Day happened in San Francisco. I love the connectivity. The exact same news report we saw in the film. So now, whenever you rewatch the first Godzilla movie, just know, when that news report came out, Lee Shaw saw it too. And Lee, seeing that, he jumps into action. He refuses to take his pill, and he's just waiting for the opportunity for him to leave. I also find it funny, by the way, that in the Godzilla movie, the Mutos are just known as the Mutos. They don't even have a name. They're just known by their classification, just the Mutos. Massive, unidentified, terrestrial organisms. They're just known by Mutos. You know, they don't have a cool name like Godzilla, Kong, Tiamat. What else was there? You know, Shimo, Scar King, Mechagodzilla. They don't have a cool name, Ghidorah, like that. They don't have a cool name. They're just known as Mutos. Anyways, let's see. Back in present day, we also see Kentaro go back to his home where he speaks to his mother. You know, Kentaro is grieving because he believes that his sister and lover, off again, on again lover, I think he still has feelings for Mei. I think it's pretty clear that he still does. You know, Kentaro's grieving. And, well, Monarch's not going to help him. But his mother is just like, well, when has that ever stopped you? If you want answers, you go get them yourself. When has someone saying they won't help you ever stopped you? So yeah, yep, that's what Kentaro does. Kentaro, he goes to his father's office in Japan. The same office where Kate somehow opened that safe with, you know, her birthday, his birth month, his mother's birth year. The same office where, for some reason, that worked. I still can't believe that worked. So he's in his father's office looking around for anything, and then Hiroshi shows up. His father shows up. It's kind of crazy to see Hiroshi in these locations, because the whole season we were kind of thinking Hiroshi's dead. Oh, maybe he's not dead. Oh look, he's alive, we found him. Oh, he disappeared again. And last we saw him, he was in Africa. So, once again, the case of everyone in this show being able to teleport. Because not only did Kentaro teleport back to Japan, so did his father. Everyone in this show just has the ability to teleport. So yeah, Hiroshi shows back up, speaks to his son. First of all, he just kind of questions like, what are you doing in here? As if Kentaro was a little kid snooping around in his dad's office. Anyway, so, Hiroshi's kind of just like, you and Kate were never supposed to be there. In fact, Kentaro, you were never supposed to know about Kate. Did something stupid really just use a fire move against Heatran? Okay, well, I think that's it. I think we just lost. Maybe I should go back to the 3DS? In an hour, we've only had one check on Heatran. Is this what you wanted? You guys wanted this instead of the 3DS. Anyway, so Kentaro breaks the news to his father that Kate's dead. At first there's a little bit of denial within Hiroshi, but then he breaks down, believing that his daughter's dead. Oh wait, before the ending scene, that's right. I'm trying to think. I don't think this was a really big scene. I don't think anything really came from this scene. Where Lee and May were walking around down there, and they're just talking. So Lee told May his story about how he's been down here before, how he lost 20 years. And May's just like, whoa, really? Can't believe that happened to you. And I think that's it. I don't remember if anything significant happened from that. So anyways, they're still down there wandering around looking for Kate. So Hiroshi, believing that... No, you know what? I should mention this scene first. So over at the Monarch headquarters with Tim and Verdugo, the only scene that we really had with them in this episode, I think, is the fact that they notice a beacon. Some sort of beacon going on. And it's consistent. You know, it's not these random flare-ups that happen. This is a consistent beacon. What could it mean, I wonder? Anyway, so yeah. The final scene of the episode, we see Kate wake up in Hollow Earth, so hey, she's alive. She hasn't been in the entire episode up until now. So she is alive down there. It kind of makes me wonder, how the hell are these characters alive? They fell to the center of the Earth. That's a pretty deep fall. You know, even in the movies, our characters had to use special vehicles to get down there. But these guys, no, they just fell right down and wow, they are unscathed. Not a scratch on them. They had to have fallen like, I don't know, 10 skyscrapers lengths? In reality, right? I know it's a portal, but still, they fell all the way down to literally the middle of the Earth. But whatever. Kate wakes up, not sure where she's at. And then, of course, this creature, this beast, shows up. This beast that looks like a boar with plants growing on it. But Kate, you know, of course she's freaking out. She doesn't know where she is, and this unknown creature is approaching her. So Kate decides to stay quiet, and it almost seems like that worked. It almost seems like this creature works off a sound. But then she tries to run away, and that kind of alerted the creature's attention, the boar. So the plant boar just charges towards Kate. Kate is about to, you know, see the pearly gates. But then an arrow gets shot right to the boar and scares it off. Who could it be? Who just saved Kate? Oh my god, it's Keiko! Keiko's alive! And she looks as young as she did when she supposedly died back in 1959. Keiko's alive! That's Kate's grandmother right there. Damn near the same age as she is. And you know what? I kind of saw this coming. The moment they introduced Hollow Earth, the moment they introduced time shenanigans, yeah, I was kind of expecting Keiko to be revealed to be alive. The fact that they supposedly killed her off in the very first episode, and then every episode afterwards was just flashing back, leading up to that moment. Yeah, I kind of expected her to be revealed to be alive. We don't know how she's alive, though. Like I said, she did survive an enormous fall. We don't know what happened to the endoswarmers that were surrounding her. But she's alive! She's been alive this whole time. And that's the episode. I don't know, we didn't really see any time shenanigans in the movies when they went to Hollow Earth. Whatever. A lot of big reveals this episode. The fact that Bill Randa died even before 1982, which means at some point within 20 years of Lee Shaw disappearing, Bill Randa died. We also got revealed not only the fact that Keiko's alive, but also the fact that time travel shenanigans take place to where Lee lost 20 years. He lost 20 years, and then he spent 33 years locked up in a retirement home until the events of the first Godzilla movie took place. Well, a year after that took place. Which also means that... So the first Godzilla movie took place in 2014. The show takes place in 2015. So 32 years later is when he decided to stop taking his medications. And then for a year, he waited for the chance to escape. A year with his mind intact without being medicated. Not even knowing if any opportunity would show up to have him escape. Well, technically, when Lee escaped, he didn't really need anyone. He just cut off the ankle monitor and just drove away. But it was Kentaro's rental car, and he also needed a reason. Like, he didn't know these guys were gonna show up. Nothing's really good here. Like, nothing at all. Anyway, so we have one episode left of Monarch before Season 2. I feel like I'm forgetting something about the episode. But whatever, I got the main points. Alright, let's talk about the next thing, which is Wonder Man. Wonder Man, episode 7, I believe, so the second last episode. Anyway, so yeah. The previous episode, Simon got the role of Wonder Man. So supposedly a little bit of time has passed since that episode, because they've already moved on. They moved on past the initial casting, and they're already started production. Simon and Trevor, you know, they're already on set getting ready to work. We start off the episode with Simon in his brand spanking new big luxurious trailer Yeah, the main star. Your lead role has to have the most luxurious trailer. You know that has to be the case, right? Which is a huge improvement from the trailer he had back when he was about to do just one scene for American Horror Stories. So Simon gets called out to set. He has his own, like, personal agent as well, who grabs him food that he requests. Protein shakes and bacon. Damn, must be nice. So, Simon and Trevor, they're going to the costume fitting. A lot of work goes into movie productions, you know? So they're testing out the costumes. Trevor making jokes that it's a little tight around the groin. And then for Simon, he actually gets his sunglasses that are the Wonder Man look. Ooh, I like the Easter eggs. So now they're in the makeup department, just going over the lines. But Simon, he's not really feeling one of the lines. Because you know how Simon is, he just overthinks things. So when Von Kovac shows up, he's just like, hey, this one line here, I don't think it's very good. Maybe we should change it. So everyone, you can see everyone is kind of fed up with Simon. It's just like, do your job, please. Just read the script. It's not that serious, man. Yeah, Simon, he just overthinks it a bit. I don't know if Von Kovac, he folded, or if he actually was siding with Simon. Because Simon, he's saying, like, it's just this one line. That's it. I feel like the one line needs to be changed. That's it. Don't need to make a big deal about it. Kovac, he's just like, you know what? On second thought, I think you're right. We should probably rewrite the line. I don't know if Kovac folded just to get Simon to shut up, or if he actually thought, you know what? He has a point. Maybe we should change up the line. And Trevor chimed in too, like, instead of saying the line like this, maybe he should just say like this. I forget exactly what he said. Anyway, so life is looking good for Simon. He got his dream role. His friend is in the role with him. Everything is looking great. So they have like a dinner meeting. It was supposed to be just Simon, but Trevor showed up as well because Simon insisted he joins because he trusts Trevor. To where, I cannot believe this too. Simon, you idiot. The dude at the end of the table was offering Simon a huge opportunity. After the film is done, what, like a Netflix role or whatever it was? Some sort of like spin-off TV show where he would be one of the main roles or whatever. And Trevor is just like, no, I think maybe you should just do Wonder Man first. Maybe do theater afterwards, really prove you've got the acting chops. Save the spin-off for after you've made the world really fall in love with you. It's just like, bruh, you're gonna turn down a spin-off streaming series where you're one of the leads for theater? I know you like theater, because Simon says himself, yeah, I like theater. I trust Trevor. But, like, dude, you don't gotta glaze everything Trevor says. Bruh, you turned down a huge opportunity. You idiot! Whatever. So they were informed that, ooh, get ready for tomorrow, cause the reporter, Kathy Friedman, is gonna talk to you two, is gonna show up on set, watch you two like a hawk. And Simon, he's just like, oh shit, Kathy Friedman? Oh no, she's bad news, Trevor. She's really bad news. Why is she such bad news? Well, the fact that she, I think, potentially ruined careers. by exposing some of the actors on their stuff. And Simon, he's terrified about his secret, you know? If Kathy Friedman learns about my secret, she'll expose it, and then I'll never act again. It's just like, don't worry, Simon. Just act natural. I'll be with you. Alright? Anyway, so the next day on set, Kathy Friedman shows up and Trevor's nowhere to be seen, so Simon's kind of on his own. And Kathy, she's just like, oh, just pretend I'm not here. I will watch you every step of the way. I will watch you every moment of the whole day. Just pretend I'm not here. Pretend there is nobody here watching you, getting ready to pick out any little mistake you make. Don't just pretend I'm not here. So, totally not mad awkward at all. And we know how stiff Simon can be. But once Trevor shows up, it's like, oh, thank God. Trevor, a little bit of relief. Because Trevor is able to, you know, cool the tension a bit. Anyway, so, I don't know, this is kind of out of place in my opinion. Kathy is just like, okay, so, Simon, I really want to talk to some people you know to really get your backstory, people's perspective on you as a person, how you got to this point. Do you have any friends I could talk to besides Trevor? You know, it's like, not really. And then Kathy is just like, oh, don't worry. I already talked to Vivian. It's just like, excuse me? You've already talked to Vivian? You know, your ex? Remember in the first episode when Simon's girlfriend left? It's just like, I don't know, that was kind of uncalled for. That was kind of stepping over the line, in my opinion. You know, you want to talk to people associated with Simon to really get to know him. And without his knowledge, let alone his permission, you just approach and speak to his ex? And then you just randomly drop it in front of him? Like, by the way, I already spoke with your ex-girlfriend yesterday. It's like, excuse me, you did what now? I don't know, that was uncalled for. That was kind of stepping over the line, in my opinion, but whatever. So Simon, really fearing if any surprise conversation he didn't know about spilled the beans about his secret, he decides to meet up with Vivian. So they meet up at the bar, have a drink. Simon once again shows off how a little bit self-centered he is. Yeah, I don't know, this is kind of interesting. Vivian reveals that, hey, she was going to leave, she was about to, but then she got a role. Yeah, she just got a role on Severance, the TV show. I don't know, I think that's kind of crazy. I don't know if the actress is on Severance, and that's just like a joke. Like, this character is on Severance because the real-life actress also acts in Severance. I don't know if that's the case or not. That'd be mad awesome if it was the case. Damn. I was about to look it up, but, like, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to ruin the magic in my mind. The actress actually is on Severance, and they just made a nod to that. The fact that the actress is on Severance also. That'd be pretty cool. But then she reveals, and don't worry, Simon, I didn't tell Miss Kathy Friedman about your secret. My secret? Oh, come on, Simon, we live together. I know your secret. Oh. It's like, Simon, you could have trusted me with your secret, but you never did. Well, Simon, I hope that one day you meet someone who you can fully trust. Who we know he thinks is Trevor, because he trusts Trevor completely. For God's sake, Trevor already knows his secret, which is leagues faster than Vivian knew. Anyways, it's also revealed that Kathy also spoke to Simon's mother, which, like, how out of place can you be? What is it with reporters purposely trying to sabotage people in this industry? You can't be like Trevor and just have the mindset be like, some of us genuinely want others to succeed in this industry. It's like, why are reporters preying on people's downfalls? What's the matter with you guys? It's the same thing in Oshinoko. That guy wanted the hot scoop on Kana, knowing damn well this will damage her career. It's like, what's the matter with you people? Anyway, so, yeah. Simon calls up his mother, asks if she mentioned anything about the kitchen fire. She's like, no, of course I didn't. Oh, but she did talk to Eric, though. Eric? Yes, the nice lady spoke to your brother. It's like, why didn't I think about Eric? This is it. This is it. My career is ruined. Because Eric, he's been waiting for this opportunity. He's been waiting for this moment. Any sort of chance to ruin me. This is it. Eric told her everything. I'm done for. I'll never act again. Simon, he's about to freak out. Trevor tries to calm him down, especially signaling to him that, hey, Kathy Friedman's standing right behind you. Don't have an outburst. Well, the three of them, they go to one of the studio restaurants, which is reserved just for the three of them. Oh, how nice. Man, I'm just gonna dive. That way I don't get risk getting hit. So anyway, during the restaurant, Kathy kind of, well actually, Kathy first is just like, Simon, how's your relationship with your brother? Oh, with me and my brother? It's complicated. What did he say to you? Oh, he said he loves you so much, he couldn't be more proud of you, he's so happy for you that you landed this role. Huh. Did he now? Did he say that? Wow, that's so nice of him. I'm not gonna lie, guys, don't be surprised if I switch back to 3DS next time, because I don't think this is working out. Anyway, so Kathy, instead of turning her attention to Simon, she actually turns her attention to Trevor. Because she's just like, Trevor, Mr. Slattery, the Mandarin. How exactly are you in this movie? You know, how exactly are you even walking around? Weren't you in prison? And then weren't you broken out of prison? Because my research shows me that you were arrested when you were at the airport not long ago. What? No, I was never arrested recently. Really? So then this footage here isn't of you being arrested at the airport after you got off the plane? You know, how can you even be in this movie? Unless you maybe cut a deal? Well, that really Trevored Trigger. Because Trevor just stomps out. And Simon just chases after him like, hey, what happened, man? What was that back there? Were you really arrested? No, no, no. Well, yes. Yes, I was. And did you make some sort of deal? Trevor, please, tell me what's going on. And then Trevor just spills the beans, tells him everything. I've been working for the Department of Damage Control. So that line alone tells Simon that Trevor has been spying on him the whole time, feeding them information. And then Simon quickly realizes that everything was a lie. You know, even meeting at the theater, that was planned, that was staged. Oh, the heartbreak. We learned a couple episodes ago, Simon never really had any friends, never really had friends ever. Not gonna lie, it's a miracle he even had a girlfriend. And then, when he finally believed, he made a friend, a true, genuine friend. Someone who wants him to succeed. Someone with the same passion as he does. Someone in the same career as him. Someone who knows his secrets, accepts him, understands him, roots for him, realizes all of that was a lie. He's hurt, you know? I would be too. So Simon, he just walks out alone. Trevor regretting all of his life decisions. Simon alone at night at the studio, which damn, that dinner took a long time. Because it was daytime when they went to the restaurant. But Simon, he is so filled with anger that he just lets loose. He lets loose and he completely blows up a studio, like one of the studios, one of the filming studios. Like, he just completely totals the building. To the point even Kathy Friedman turns around and realizes, what? Why am I... Oh, right. Grassy terrain made this thing grass type because of its ability. That's right. So yeah. Simon, he may have just screwed up because if he doesn't get out of there fast, he may have just exposed himself. And well, that's the Wonder Man episode. One episode left of Wonder Man. I'm not gonna lie, I actually really like this show. For it being a very grounded, very minimal superpower, very minimal fight scene Marvel TV show, I really like it. Not only is the acting stellar, the storyline very wholesome, I really like the theme as well, the music, the theme song. But you know, it's also something that I actually am interested in, being Hollywood, movie magic, movie making, this kind of industry. So it is right up my alley. I'm really enjoying this show. I would love a season 2, but then again I said that for Hawkeye as well, and we never got a season 2. We were going to, but then Disney cheaped out and didn't want to pay Jeremy Renner. A Dreadnought's actually not that bad, being a water type, but we'll see. Alright, so we have one more show to go over. A brand new show for me to talk about, that being Ted, the TV show. Because Season 2 of Ted is going to start soon. And, well, it's a comedy. It's not as serious as all the other shows I've been watching. So let's see. The first episode of Ted. If I'm getting my facts right, in the first movie, John made his wish for Ted to be alive in 1985, was it? And in this show, it is now 1993. And they made it very clear that throughout the episode, John is 16 years old in this show. So, I believe it's 1993. And you know what? I do love the continuity. Well, as much as they could do. Because the very beginning of the first episode, they did recap kind of the beginning of the Ted movie, where where John made the wish. But damn, the one thing I couldn't help but notice is the fact that John's parents are recast. Obviously, John himself is recast, because it's a prequel. We can't have a de-aged Mark Wahlberg. You know, originally there were plans to do a Ted show after the second movie, but Mark Wahlberg was so booked up that he couldn't do it, so they pivoted and did a prequel instead, and thus we got the Ted show. So I'm not as mad as the fact that John is recast, just because it's a younger version of the character, but the fact that the parents are recast, which I suppose quite a bit of years has passed, so you could chalk it up to that, but like, damn, his parents aged pretty significantly. They have completely different faces now. John's mother lost a lot of weight since 1985. But anyways, so I'm not going to go over every single joke told in the show, because that will be here all day. So I'll just go over the main story beats. Oh, how did the episode start? I also gotta say, before actually talking about the show itself, I gotta say, the CGI, just for the episode, was excellent. It was scary good, you know? You would think such a simple premise for a show like this would be CGI minimal, but no, you gotta remember, Ted is a completely CGI character. He's a talking teddy bear. Like, some of the CGI is so scary good, it's hard to believe it's even CGI. Like, you even see the shadows match with Ted's movement as well. They have ray tracing going on. And once again, I don't know what kind of movie magic they do when it comes to this stuff, but when Ted interacts with real life materials and they actually move, I don't know if that object is CGI or what did they do. Because you guys gotta remember, CGI is expensive. They already have the Ted model, yeah, but every object he interacts with also has to be CGI. That's a lot of money. This is an entire show. So let's see. We start off with John and Ted in their room playing Super Nintendo? Like, they're playing, obviously it was supposed to be Mario, but it almost seemed like a bootleg version just for copyright. So instead, the game's not working, so they have to blow into the cartridge. You know, making the jokes like, man, the way you blew into that cartridge, you would really make some guy happy one day. It's a lot of offensive jokes. It's Ted. If you've seen the Ted movies, you know how the jokes are. The new Superman is Jonah Hill. Fuck! Perfection. I laugh at that joke even to this day. Because Jonah Hill as Superman? Yeah, no. No. You know, that joke is 10 years old. The Jonah Hill Superman joke is 10 years old. Because the Ted movie, the Ted 2 movie, that clip said New Superman 2016. That was 10 years ago. Jonah Hill as Superman. Can you imagine that? Anyways, so yeah, they're playing Super Nintendo, I think. I'm trying to think. I forget what Ted said. Ted said something somewhat offensive. Oh, it was about midgets. That's right. Ted was talking about midgets, and then in comes Blair, played by Georgia Wiggum, who I know from The Punisher show. So yeah, Ted was talking about midgets, and then Blair just comes in and is like, you can't say that, that's offensive. You have to call them little people. It's like, look at me, I'm a tiny little teddy bear. I should be considered a little person. if that's the case, I should be considered a midget. That means I can say it, right? So, we learn about Blair. She's kinda... I guess in present day, you could kind of chalk her up as being a super liberal. It's like, you can't say that, that's offensive. You can't say that, that's racist. You can't think like that. And then that topic continues at the dinner table, where Ted is trying to get Susan to swear. Susan, John's mother. And nope, she's a good woman. She's not going to hell. She refuses to swear. So, but then everyone swears. Even John's father, Matty, swears. It's just like, hey, language, we're at the dinner table here. Damn, I shouldn't have chosen Torkoal. So, anyway, so, Matty, John's father, is saying like, man, I've already been having a bad day today. What happened, Dad? Well, the car got wrecked, and I gotta pay for that. It's gonna be like $400. Well, what happened to the car? Well, I was at a Chinese buffet. You can put 2 to 2 together. It's like, wow, Uncle Matty. Which I should also mention, Blair is their cousin. Blair is John's cousin, who I don't think we ever heard of in the movies. Just like, wow, what a stereotype. You were at a Chinese buffet and Chinese people can't drive, so must have damaged your car. It's like, you can't say that stuff. That's racist. That's offensive. Hey, I'm not racist. My favorite movie is Rocky. What? How is that relevant at all? I'm not gonna lie, my Rocky movie knowledge isn't that great. So Maddie mentioned like a black character in that film succeeding. You would think it's just a throwaway joke, but no, that joke actually comes back later on in the episode. So at the dinner table, damn, Blair just gets called out too. Because Susan's just like, you know, Blair, everyone's a little bit racist. Even you. What? Me? No, I'm not racist. How was I racist? Remember when you were a little girl playing with your Barbie dolls? You would cut the hair off of your Barbie dolls to try to style it? Yeah, so? Well, you cut the hair off of the black Barbie dolls first. And if it looked good, then you cut the hair on the white Barbie dolls. It's like, ooh, did you, Blair? I don't know, I was a little kid. No, that excuse doesn't work. Did you do it though, Blair? Okay, fine, yes, I did it. I cut the hair off of the black Barbie dolls first. Oh! Oh yeah, also during dinner, Ted said like another, I don't want to say racial slur, but just a word that would be quote-unquote offensive. Casual racism versus competitive racism. So then, Blair trying to cope, being like, alright, well, I was a little kid, I didn't know any better. What's your excuse? You know, you guys are just literally being upfront racist. Oh yeah, Blair? What was the name of the girl, of the black Barbie? I don't remember. Once again, you think that's just a throwaway joke, but it comes back later in the episode. Anyways, dinner was chaotic. But because Ted, Blair thinks Ted is pretty useless. Like, he doesn't really do anything. Blair just throws out the idea, why don't you go to school with John? I think you would learn something or two. It's just like, what? No, I can't go to school. I protect the house when everyone's gone. So this is like, alright, Ted, so what would you do? If a burglar broke into the house and you were by yourself, what would you do? Well, I would tell the burglar everything valuable is in the backyard, and then once the burglar leaves to go to the backyard, I lock the door behind him. And then he kept on saying, like, I can't go to school, because when school's going on, that's Plinko time. How else am I supposed to tell John the results of Plinko? It's like an old game show back in the 90s. And then Susan even chimes in too, like, yes, how is he supposed to know the results of Plinko? Dinner was absolutely hectic. So, the next day, when everyone's out, John's at school, assuming Blair's at school too, the parents are out, Ted is just by himself, watching TV, quote-unquote guarding the house. Plinko goes, and then whoever was playing won the grand prize. Oh my god, I gotta tell someone. Alright, no one's here. That's okay, this will be my moment. So then Ted, being bored and alone, he thinks about what to do. Oh, I know. Let me go and see where Maddie hides his porn. Just goes into his closet, digs around. Jeez, Maddie, like decades of marriage and no porn? But instead of finding porn, what he finds is, a rifle. He finds a gun. So, oh no, Ted. Ted has a gun. What's he gonna do? He knows exactly what to do with this. He rolls out the yard sliding thing. You know that plastic little, like, almost, I don't want to say carpet. You know that plastic thing that people roll out to slide across in the front yard with water? Yeah, Ted rolls that thing out and then uses the gun to just pretty much launch himself to slide the water slide. The neighbor comes out like, Ted, what are you shooting at? Nothing. Is that a gun? No. What are you shooting at with the gun? Nothing. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so yeah, Ted slides across the yard with the ricochet of the gun. So he's just like, oh my god, I gotta do it again. So, while running, yep, he trips, the gun fires, and then the bullet goes into the house. Goes through the window, and wow, a single bullet destroyed the TV. Not even like one bullet hole through the TV. No, the whole TV got hollowed out somehow. So Ted, he's just like, oh shit, the TV's destroyed. Well, nighttime, Blair is driving her Uncle Maddie back home. They were talking about something ridiculous, I can't remember what it was. And then, when they come in, well, Ted is sitting with 3 hookers, 3 prostitutes. Just like, Ted, who are these people? Like, I don't remember what the two of their names was, but Ted said the third one's name was like Beef Stroganoff. Ted, what happened to the TV? Oh, I shot it. You shot it? Yeah. And then when I shot it, I was feeling super guilty, feeling super down, but then I thought to myself, you know what? Feeling down about it's not gonna fix the TV, so I shouldn't feel so sad about it. Nothing's gonna fix the TV. Being sad certainly not gonna fix it, so that's why I called these three ladies right here to make myself feel better, and you know what? I do feel better. Well, that was the last straw for Maddie, because he's just like, you know what, Ted? You are going to TV. What? You are going to school for breaking the TV. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's kind of an overreaction, isn't it? Anyways, yep. Ted, as a punishment, is now going to school. So Ted and John, they're in bed trying to go to sleep. He's just like, hey, John, you awake? Yeah. You're not jerking off right now, are you? No. Wait, do you jerk off when I'm in the room? Oh my god, you do. You do jerk off when I'm in the room. What? No, I don't. Ah, that explains the dream I had the other night. The dream Ted had, I forget. He was like horseback or whatever, and then he just heard the, the clapping sound go faster. Anyway, so pretty much, Ted asked John, how much is school gonna suck? Oh, I really wish I remembered the joke he said, because it was actually a really good joke. It's kind of like, oh man, I really wish I remembered the joke John said. Something about being kicked in the balls constantly. That's how school is gonna feel. Anyways, so they go to school. Once again, excellent CGI. Even has ray tracing with shadows. So a couple things get introduced about school. John has this crush on this girl who is older than him. It's just like, what's her name? Sheila. No way, Sheila? Yeah, it's almost like her parents knew she was gonna turn out to be beautiful and had to nerf her right then and there by giving her the name Sheila. The jokes are just non-stop in this show. It is wonderful. And then we also get this like fat bully who picks on John. So it's like, what's this, Bennett? You bringing your stuffed animals, your teddy bear to school now? You're more gay than I thought. And then just, you know, sacks him 2 times. And Ted just goes, well, you're calling him gay, but didn't you just touch his penis 2 times? Whoa, 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 don't look at me, pal. It's cool being gay now. It's the 90s. Who here is gay? Raise the hands. Damn near all the kids raise their hands. Like, what? So during class, their teacher is bald, and the jokes just keep on coming. Because it's like, I think 4 of the teacher's hairs just left his head during the class. I don't think they fell out. I think they jumped off. So the teacher just asked Ted, Ted, can you finish this? You know what Ted answers? Your wife is definitely sleeping with other guys. And then, oh my god, the teacher just had a spiral. The teacher, he's just like, well, joke's on you. I am having marital problems. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. The teacher just goes off. My wife had an affair last year. We tried to move on, but neither of us could forget. I have my son doesn't respect his father anymore. My daughter is having a pregnancy scare. You know how I know? Shit, I'm the only one who buys tampons in the house, and my daughter hasn't had her period in the past 5 weeks. Like, oh my god, this teacher is unhinged. The jokes are... The jokes, I'm not gonna lie, the jokes got a little bit tiresome at one point. That's how many jokes there were. It was just non-stop, but it was good. So Ted hatches this plan. He is gonna get kicked out of school. So what does Ted do? Well, in the cafeteria, he hides in the freezer and jump scares the lunch lady. So he's just like, he says to himself, will Ted please report to the principal's office? Well, don't mind if I do. The principal there, she's just like, Ted, I've seen this before. Do you know where I worked at before? I worked at whatever other school she worked at. Ted's just like, wasn't their mascot a guy with a knife? Well, he was technically known as a pirate, but close enough. Look, Ted, I've seen this before. Students, they want to cause trouble. They want to get kicked out. You know, they want us to punish them. But you know what? I'm not going to let that happen. And I'm going to make you as an example. You can do all the bad things you want, Ted. You can get in as much trouble as you want. But I'm not going to punish you. It's just like, wait, hold on. Do I really have to be made an example of this? You can't, you know, do this to anyone else? The exact same happened in the Ted movie. Right? During the job interview. Anyway, so, They need to hatch a better plan to get Ted kicked out of school. After school, they see Sheila. She is smoking up a joint. So they come up with the idea, oh my god, that's it. That's my key out of here. Ted, I'm gonna get caught having drugs at school, and I'm gonna get kicked out. Come on, we can go talk to Sheila, and, you know, she can give us some weed. It's like, what? No, Ted, I'm not gonna talk to her. Are you crazy? Hold on, give me just a second. You wanna know what's funny? My sister just texted me that my dad was listening in on what I'm talking about here. Here I am talking about school and drugs and teachers going absolutely bonkers. Has no idea what I'm going on about in here. But what do I care? Anyway, so yeah. You know, this is John's crush. He has a chance to talk to her, but he's too coward to. So you know what Ted does? Oh, I can't remember exactly what he said. Ted is just like, if you don't talk to her right now, I'm gonna go up to her and I'm gonna tell her that you masturbate to whoever. And I really can't remember who he said specifically. And well, that was enough motivation for John to go up and talk to her. So John goes up, introduces himself, shakes her hand. I guess he was nervous because his hand was sweaty. She's just like, whoa, your hand's kind of damp there. Did you just wash them? Yeah, I just washed my hands not too long ago. I was in the bathroom. I just had diarrhea. Oh my god, the jokes are non-stop. So, long story short, they asked Sheila for pot, but she says, no, I can't give it to you guys. How old are you guys? 16? No, I can't. Ted's just like, alright, can you give us your source? One joke, he's just like, oh my god, thanks for the pot source, Shelly. It's Sheila. I know! Really can't get over the fact that her name is Sheila. So they go to this supposed source of pot. Oh my god, the jokes! I cannot get over the jokes. John's just like, alright, here's my allowance money to use to buy the pot. It's like, well, what are we gonna tell your dad about where the rest of the money went? I don't know, we'll tell them we donated it to, like, Jew causes. What? Hey, we really should do that, shouldn't we? Yeah, that's a good thing to donate our money to. No, John, stay focused. We got weed to buy. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. So Ted goes up, knocks at the door. The door opens. He's immediately like, can I buy some weed from you? Who's the drug dealer? It's Blair. It is Blair. She's the one who sells the weed. So, oh my goodness. She grows the weed in this little, like, dinky apartment with her friend. They use the money to try to pay for tuition. Because, well, would you believe Uncle Matty charges her rent? He charges her like $20 a month. It's like, how can you charge your own niece rent? It's kind of crazy. Anyway, so, yeah. Blair is really against this because she knows that Ted is going to introduce weed to her minor 16-year-old cousin. But Ted's just like, I swear, it'll only be for me. I won't give any to John. So they have the pot, and of course they're gonna smoke it. This was like the most hilarious moment in the episode. Because they have a whole bag of pot. There's a lot in that bag. John's just like, we gotta smoke it. What? We can't smoke it. I promised your cousin I won't give you any. Ted, listen to me. I'm a loser, alright? I'm probably the only guy in school who's never smoked pot, never had sex, never had a girlfriend. I'm a loser. Maybe if I smoke this pot now, it'll finally make me cool. Alright, fine. But, you know, John, we're about to smoke pot together for the very first time. We gotta do this at least. We gotta do this right. These two fuckers changed into three-piece tuxedos before smoking the pot. It was so hilarious. Like, that's how you smoke pot correctly for the first time. You put on your three-piece suit and tie before smoking it. It was the funniest thing ever. That's what they decided to do. They put on their fancy clothes to smoke the pot. So, they smoke it, and then we get this, you know, this badass shot of them leaving the room in their suits, walking down the stairs. But then it cuts to reality. They are actually just walking in slow motion down the stairs. So they went downstairs for dinner, and, you know, when you're high, you get hungry, you get the munchies. Not that I would know. No, I'm serious. I don't know. You know me. I don't do that stuff. I would rather die before I smoke. And that is the honest truth. Anyways. So it was hilarious. The parents had no idea what was going on with them. Like, seriously? Seriously. You couldn't smell it. You couldn't see it. You can't just deduce it on your own. You seriously couldn't figure out what's going on with these two. Maddie was just like, is there a gas leak or something happening in the house? Now, their eyes weren't red, so I don't know what's going on there. But Blair, you know, she knows. She knows very well. And then we get this iconic meme scene of Blair confronting Ted, where Ted is just like, alright, let's all calm down and have a nice discussion. Gets up and runs out. Runs away mid-sentence. Blair runs out and realizes Ted is on the roof. He's on the roof. How did he get up there? He climbed up the drain pipe. Well, after some back and forth with the neighbor lady coming out too, Ted falls off the roof to where Blair just picks him up and is like, listen to me, you little shit. You are going to clean up this mess, or I swear to God, I am going to put you in the dryer. Alright, so that's not a big deal. I'll put you in the dryer with Maddie clothes. Okay, I'll behave. I'll fix this. I'll put you in the dryer with Maddie's clothes. Okay, okay. Don't need to go that far. I'll do one more run. See, Blair is super concerned that if her uncle found out that she's dealing drugs, he'll kick her out. And then Blair will have nowhere to go. Alright, so it's go time. Operation Get Ted Kicked Out of School. So, the plan is to plant the weed in into Ted's locker, so it'll look like he's the one having the marijuana. But, hey, the bell hasn't rung yet, the hallway's full of kids. We gotta do this when everyone is gone. Alright, just stand here and look like we're having a conversation, alright? Talk about what? I don't know. Watch any movies lately? Actually, yeah, I did just watch this movie about this, like, plane crash or whatever. Oh, no, not a plane crash. It was a movie about eating someone out of survival. And then John thought it was weird that the character would eat the male character first and instead of the female character. It's like, wait a second. Wait, you actually have an opinion on that? It's like, yeah, why would he eat the male character first? Because that's weird. That's double weird. So it's like, okay, John, if you were in a plane crash with Tom Hanks and, I forget who he said. Some woman actress. And then the plane crashes, only you survive, who are you going to eat first? Well, why am I on a plane with them? It's some sort of like aircraft testing simulation, or some sort of test. You and two other celebrities. Well, what about the pilot? It's all automated. like, just back and forth when it's all hypothetical. Anyways, eventually John just is like, alright, yeah, I'll eat the woman first before I eat Tom Hanks. The fact that he had an opinion on that. Anyways, the bell rang, it's time to plant the drugs. But then, oh no, the fat bully guy shows up and is like, hey, drugs? For me? You shouldn't have. Thanks, Bennett, now I know where, you know, now I know my new source. Anyway, so after a little scuffle, the principal shows up after the bullies left, and it's just like, why are you two in the hallway? Get to class now. I'm in possession of drugs. What? So Ted and John get called to the principal's office, like, you have drugs, but you lost it. Well, then I can't punish you. It's like, I did, but, whatever the fat bully's name was, he has it now. He has it? Well, if he's in possession, then he's the one who will be punished. So it all completely backfired on them. They lost the drugs, they lost their chance to get kicked out of school. Damn, too bad there's a bug in the way before I get to the ground type. Did my game just lag just now? Alright, so they need more weed. So they decide to snoop around Blair's room, try to find any weed. For some reason, while snooping around, John opens one of her drawers and finds it's full of cans of tuna. What? Of all the random things, literally, she has a drawer in her room filled with cans of tuna. Of all the random things. Anyways, so they found the weed, but before they can leave, of course Blair is about to enter the room, so they hide in her closet. So Blair and her Aunt Susan, they walk in. So Susan was asking Blair for razors to shave her legs, I think. So then Blair is just like, you know, it's the 90s. You don't have to shave your legs. Oh, when I was your age, I was picked on so much. So I am so self-conscious about it. Let me tell you something. So, can I ask you something? One of the girls who picked on me when I was younger, I think she said like last year I saw her and she had lost a hand. And I felt happy about it. Does that make me a bad person? Oh, maybe this Christmas I will knit her a mitten. And maybe it should say, sorry about your hand. What? I know I'm babbling nonsense right now. I highly recommend you just watch the episode. Like, the jokes, I'm not doing the episode justice by going over it this sloppily. Just watch the episode, please. Anyway, so a literal cockroach is in the closet, which scares them, making a noise, alerting Blair that someone's in her closet. So she grabs mace out of her purse, sprays them, and because their eyes are kind of messed up, the bag of weed just falls to the ground, and, you know, John's mother is just like, John, why do you have drugs? Oh no. So, Blair takes the blame for it. She gets scolded by her aunt and uncle. Mostly her uncle, actually. So, you know, Maddie is scolding his niece for having drugs. I welcome you into my home, and you repay me by selling drugs? It's revealed that Maddie is charging his niece rent money to stay here, and Susan is not a fan of that. So, yeah. Maddie does kick Blair out. And he's just like, I want her out of here by tonight. Stomps off. It's supposed to be a sad, serious moment, but then Blair just turns around and goes like, I remember the name of the Black Barbie now! I told you that joke would come back. So, we see Blair packing up her things and getting ready to go. John and Ted, they feel so guilty. You know, they want to go apologize to her. She's not mad at them, she's mad at herself. Why exactly is Blair living with her cousin, her aunt and uncle? It's because her family is even worse. Her dad is an abusive drunk. Her mom, I don't remember what she said. Her brother's in jail. So, you know, that's why she's living with her relatives. She wanted to protect her young cousin from, you know, the supposed Bennett family curse. But, you know, she's kicked out now, so she just warns her cousin to watch out for himself. Ted and John, they feel so guilty they have to do something. Ted decides it's time to open the box. What is the box? So they go to a safety deposit box, and the guy who helps them out is just like, let me know if you need anything else. Before he leaves, he just turns around and tells them, did you know that adult diapers have really been revolutionary now? Like, technology has come so far. You could be speaking to someone and never know if they were soiling themselves as you were speaking. It was so random, so out of nowhere. The dude just turns around and talks to them about adult diapers. It was so out of nowhere. Ted is just like, are you currently wearing adult diapers? No, I'm not that crazy. Just walks away. Anyway, so they open the safety deposit box. They pull out a little box. We don't know what's inside just yet. It's like, hey man, we're done. The dude tosses him a key. I needed to open that particular box and grab me a pair of pants that's inside. Alright. So what's inside that box? So they pitch a deal to Maddie. Ted is just like, look, when I was famous, I had this movie opportunity with Sylvester Stallone, but the movie never got made. We were close to getting it made, but it didn't get made. Sylvester Stallone, he did give me a gift, and that's inside this box. What's inside the box? That is Rocky's mouthpiece. Wait, doesn't that mean... Yep, that's right, the one inside the museum is fake. I will give you the mouthpiece if you allow Blair to stay, if you give her a second chance. Maybe if you put it on, maybe you'll change your mind. Give it a try first. Oh my god. John's dad puts on Rocky's mouthpiece. He's just like, I can feel Rocky. I feel him in my mouth. Oh my god, man. So he decides, okay, I'll give Blair a second chance. Hooray! Everything's great. Blair moves back in. And she just makes some promise. Promise me, guys, no more drugs. We promise, no more drugs. Except for weed. Yep, weed's the one exception. They say that behind her back as they walk out. And then she was saying stuff like, I don't want you guys to end up like my dad, smoking weed in front of the TV, watching Flash Gordon. We know that's exactly where these two characters are headed. If anything, we literally see it at the end of the episode. They smoke weed and put on Flash Gordon. I'm gonna call it for tonight. A lot of shows to talk about. Alright, I'm gonna call it for today. I'll see you guys next time.